Okay, let me introduce myself. Uh, I am Chaitanya Gundi and I run an institute by the name Vedabala Coaching. So we teach students in various competitive exams. Yeah, I think people are coming. So let's wait for a couple more minutes. Hey guys, hi Nitisha Malhotra and one more guest I am able to see here and Swati Kesharwani. Can you briefly introduce yourself, people?
Good
Hi,
evening,
Vishal.
sir. Vishal here. Yes.
Yeah, good evening. I think I can see someone from guest ID. I'm not able to know the name. So can you please introduce yourself? And then there is Swati Kesharwani. And then there is Vishal. Yeah, guys, please introduce yourself.
Hi, guys. I'm Vishal. I finished my degree in BCom Travel and Tourism. So I want to join the army. I'm preparing for my CDS.
Great, Vishal. Great. And may I know, Swati, details about you and what you are aiming for?
Yeah, hi. I'm a working professional and I'm looking to aim for giving CAT exam and GMAT exam.
Oh, great, great. And we welcome one more person who is into this, Rishi. It's mentioned Rishi CDS. Rishi, can you please introduce yourself and what you're looking for? What is your aim you're looking for in your career?
Yes, sir, of course. My name is Rishi Nair, and my aim in terms of career is to join the Indian Armed Forces, specifically the Indian Army. And so, as of now, I'm pursuing the Combined Defense Service exam to clear it.
Great,
Uh,
great, great, great. All the best,
Excuse me,
guys.
sir.
Yes, Vishal. Yes, tell me, please.
Sir, the guest person is my friend who's joined in the lobby. His
Okay,
audio is
okay.
not working. Just give
Okay,
him a minute, sir.
he can send chat messages so that I'll
Okay.
be able to know what he's looking for and how I can best help him. You please ask him to if he is able to hear me, or
Yes,
if
sir.
not, please ask him to send a chat message in the box.
Okay, I'll do that, sir.
So we have two people from CDS. We have one person for CAT,
Ah,
and we'll wait for one more minute and then we will start off. So in the meantime, let me introduce myself. I am Chaitanya, and I am a coach. I have a training institute by the name Vedabala Coaching Academy in Bangalore. I also offer services in a startup, education startup by the name Cadito India. So basically, I coach students in quantitative aptitude for various competitive exams, which includes, as you people are aiming for defense exams, CDS, NDA, and management exams, IP-MAT and CAT and MAT. And I also teach students for the regular school and college exams. So welcome, Yashas. We have already introduced ourselves. You can please introduce yourself and your career, what you are looking for, so that this session can be fruitful to you.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Yashas. Please go on.
Hi, I'm Yashas. I'm currently studying in the fifth semester of Christ University. I'm doing BCom honors there.
Great.
I'm also preparing for the CDS exam coming up on November 8th.
Oh, great, great. So three CDS people. Okay. So Vishal, what about your friend? I think we not received any message. Is he also aiming for CDS or any specific
yes.
exam?
He's preparing for CDS. He's telling he can hear the audio now.
No issues.
So
What's his name?
anytime he'll introduce. His name is Kamlesh, sir.
Okay, Kamlesh. Very good, very good.
Yeah, his audio will be fine any moment and he'll speak, sir.
Okay. And at the end of this, I will request to share your honest feedback through the chat box so that there is scope for improvement, which I can provide to you and future students, right? So here we start the webinar then, and I will be sharing my screen. Before that, let me tell you what is the purpose or aim of this webinar. Basically, I provide coaching, as I said, to quantitative aptitude students. But what I have found over the years is that there are three categories of students. One category is that they are having a background in mathematics, and they assume that the exams they are giving at the college and school levels is sufficient for preparation in competitive exams. So that type of students, they get a, I mean, you can say a jolt when they actually give the exam. Why? Because exactly it doesn't match. There is certain other requirements you need to fulfill. Then there is another category, students who have in the past, maybe they are having an experience wherein they are afraid of maths, and then they carry that belief along, and they think that they cannot achieve good marks in quant, and that's why they're very worried. And between these two, we can say the students category intermediate, they are neither overconfident or nor very underconfident, but somehow they lack the preparation, the momentum, or somewhere they lack it. And then towards the end of the as the exam comes near, they will tend to start worrying and losing out on performance. So these three categories primarily I have experienced, and based on my own experience of preparation for CAT, I actually gave CAT exam in 2006 and 7, and I scored above 96, 97 percentile, and in my first attempt, and I was getting admission into some of the very top colleges like SP Jain and Narsimhanji and Irma. So my experience, my friends experiences, and my students experiences, they made me think on whether I can help the students in changing their strategy and accordingly changing their scores. So this webinar is primarily about that, and let's start it without any further delay. So I'll be sharing the screen. Yeah, here we go. So the aim is, if we are successful, if I am successful in this addressing my views in this webinar, then you should be knowing exactly how do you want to score high marks in quantitative aptitude and thereby improve your score dramatically. Which category of students you belong, that's not very important. So there are some common things which you can all follow here, right? So now quantitative aptitude is nothing but another name for what we call it as what we say numerical ability in some exams, and basically it's also called as arithmetic or even plain simple maths. So now the first and foremost, students generally are not aware that for success in quantitative aptitude, before they even start with the subject, they need to have two main things. One is you should have a success mindset, and then you should build on winning habits. Now, what is success mindset? So what I found was many students, they come with a fixed mindset. Either they have high IQ or they have low IQ. So based on that, they think that nothing can be done, and their genes, their parents, their upbringing, their environment, their school environment, their teachers, they have already pre-decided whether they will be able to score very high marks in quant or they are of low IQ material. So that mindset has to change first. So success mindset basically says you should have a mindset which is believing in growth. Growth means you should see whatever a person can achieve, you also can achieve, provided you have the right ingredients which that person has used. So basically, you can replicate success. You can replicate success when you follow certain strategies. That's the success mindset. There is no limit to the success you can achieve apart from what is there inside your mind, right? That's a success mindset. And next is, it's not enough to have a success mindset. We need to build on certain habits which help us in winning. And if you ask me, there have been many books which have been written about these habits, and you might be confused with so much information. So all I say is just look at the people who are successful in your career, whatever you are aiming for. Like suppose say CDS, or maybe CAT, or maybe any other competitive exam which requires high level of preparation. So just go to YouTube and search for their videos, or maybe you can read their blogs. What is common to all these people? What are the habits which are common? I mean, you see as a common pattern among them. You can simply note those habits and you can start adopting them in yourself. So this is the first strategy before we even start with our preparation or strategy for what do you say competitive exams. So now, briefly, I will tell you what is the next step before we discuss in detail how do you have the success mindset, winning habits, and all that. So we will come to the next portion. This is the subject preparation. So subject preparation ideally starts 1 year, or maybe depending on your practice or competence level, maybe more than 1 year. So ideally, except for some situations where students are confident even after 6 months of preparation, or maybe after say a very short term crash course. But generally we see that if you are having a preparation goal of 1 year or 1.5 year, that should suffice in 99% cases. So that is the thing, and we will discuss how do you prepare strategy, long term, short term, medium term, and all that, and what you do in various stages. Next comes what, once you are having a success mindset, once you have certain habits which you are practicing, and you need to also have a strategy for how you will be presenting yourself on the exam day. So this involves having the right attitude, not jumping at the question paper and straight away solving, but instead preparing a strategy at the last moment also based on how the question paper is, and all those things we will discuss in this. So let's jump right ahead, and we will see how do you adopt the success mindset and winning habit. Now, once you can see here, as I discussed already, a mindset of growth says you should have an optimistic attitude. Your past is not equal to your future unless you allow it. And the only hurdle you face in your growth is you yourself. The limit is what you can think. If you think that you can achieve this much competency, you will be restricted to that because you will not be motivated enough to grow beyond that. So what I suggest is, first of all, challenge that mindset of fixed mindset and go towards this. So this involves you watch inspiring movies. Like recently, there was an actor, Brosnan, if I'm not wrong, Chadwick Brosnan, sorry. He just recently passed away due to cancer, and his story is becoming viral in Facebook. If you can search it, he is a great inspiration. I mean, the level of dedication he put in, and the effort. I will not discuss that. If you are interested, you can just watch his 5 or 10 minutes video. You will get to know yourself. The next thing is you should always visualize your goal, because if the goal is in front of you in your mind, you will always be motivated to do whatever it takes to go towards that. If you forget that goal, maybe again the past comes and catches up with you, and you will again start going the downward track, or the downward spiral in your thinking and all that. So for goal visualization, there are plenty of videos in the net, and you can watch inspiring movies. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to start off along with your preparation. And winning habits. I have here listed some of the common habits which I found. And one of the main things is the learning to focus. These days we have so many things. We have mobile phone, we have internet, we have friends who will be calling us on WhatsApp and all. So there are huge number of distractions. So in the midst of these distractions, how are we able to focus on our preparation, at least for say half an hour, 45 minutes? So we should learn how to put alarm clock and put the mobile in flight mode and all those things. So learning to focus is the primary thing in terms of habits. Then next is persistence. Why I'm saying persistence comes second is, these days we have all the quick fix techniques, like we have Swiggy, we have every damn thing. So generally we tend to forget that any particular goal, depending on the level of competency or the satisfaction you are getting out of it, it requires a price to pay. And when you are paying that price, it appears as if you are progressing nowhere. You are like going in a round and round loop. You will think that I'm still stuck up, I can't still solve the problems. In the initial stages you will be having that, but trust me, 1 year is a long enough time. So you need to have faith in yourself and in your preparation, and you need to persist. Then apart from this, there is one more thing which I recognized as people, they are just like machines. They go on preparing without any relaxation. This I observe mainly with those IIT and medical entrance students, or UPSC students, whose competition is very tough, I agree, but they forget that without relaxing their mind, it's like you are running your car without stopping by. So eventually what will happen, the engine gets hot and you have to stop. So similarly, you should schedule your time for relaxation, otherwise you will burn out. So whatever is relaxation I have listed out, there can be any other thing, but it should be a creative hobby. Relaxation in terms of social media binging or TV, or that should be restricted. Why? Because that mainly is a time waster, and it's an addictive thing, social media especially. And news is anyway not beneficial to us. It will tend to have a negative thought process in our mindset. So these two things we should try to restrict or avoid. And any hobby, like say, if suppose someone has a hobby of playing music, or maybe drawing, it can be included. So these should be also planned. Say, like suppose if I say, for example, you are learning to focus for 1 hour, then maybe 15 minutes you do one of these. Again, start the preparation. So in the initial stages, when you require huge amounts of time for preparation, you can go for this 15 minutes or 10 minutes breaks in between. So this is first, this will set the tone for your attitude and your, what I say, the readiness to prepare before you even touch the subject. Because most students, they just start with the subject. Don't go with the subject. First, you should understand that you are having, your mindset is a block if it is not in the proper, mode. So you need to address that. That's why I have included this as the first preparation strategy. Next comes subject preparation. Now, this is an in-depth thing, and so I have included many subcategories to it. Yeah. Now, it is saying that first there is a long-term strategy. Immediately, like suppose I have seen an army officer. For those of you guys who are preparing for CDS, or maybe you are preparing for CAT. So might be that one possibility is that you might have got inspired by seeing those officers on duty, or maybe someone from IIMs, all those things. So that is there. That's fine. That motivation is there. But in order to sustain that motivation for the long term, you need to have a plan. And that plan says, first of all, you should take ideally a coaching from a reputed agency. Why? Because a coach, you can think of it like that. You are a product and you are into product development. If I'm saying that you are aiming for a competitive exam, so this product development requires some developer, and coach is nothing but they act as a developer. So you need to join any of the reputed coaching academies, and also maybe reputed author books you can buy. Next is you need to plan the sequence. It's not that you should jump from topic number 1 to topic number 2. Generally, students try to avoid the difficult topics in the initial stages because that will tend to give them headaches. But trust me, you should actually go the reverse of what your heart says in this case. You should first tackle the most difficult topics, and you should, I will say, tackle them like a bull head on. Why head on? Because it will require huge amount of willpower on your part initially to prepare for these topics. Why? Because these are the hard, difficult topics. Means in the past you must have had some experience wherein you did not like these topics. Therefore, your mind will resist. But trust me, if you are comfortable preparing with these topics, as the time goes by, your confidence levels will increase because the rest of the chapters or topics are easier to you. So what to do in these difficult topics then? Get the basics strong, all the basic concepts, basic formula. I'm not talking of shortcuts, basic formulae, understanding, like suppose if it's a profit and loss question, what is this profit percentage? If I'm given profit percentage and selling price, how do you arrive at cost price? What happens in case of loss? What, and all those categories. For example, if time and work, how do I calculate in terms of, if A is more efficient than B, or if 10 people are working? These are the different kinds of questions which require different concepts. You get the basics strong and you practice, whether it is a long solution method also, no problem in this initial stage. You should not focus immediately on shortcuts will appear once your foundation is strong. So this is the period wherein you need to focus on the foundation, the basics, the simple questions, easy questions, like warming up for you, and then slightly difficult questions. So this is that phase. Now, along with that, I have not included here, but you should ideally prepare a formula chart and hang it in front of you, in front of your study, in front of your bed, and you should make it a point to look at it at least 2 times, once in the morning, once in the evening. No mugging up, just look at it for 5 minutes, focused, glance through all the formulae, stop it. Again in the evening, glance through all the formulae, stop it. That is a habit you need to build on this. Now, once you are making a regular practice and you persist with this, slowly I will say that you will have confidence in those difficult topics, and now the easy topics will be much easier to handle, I will say, and your confidence in quant will slowly increase in the first 3 months. Now in this time, what you need to do, you already achieved a momentum, you need to increase that momentum, build up on that momentum. What do? You increase the number of questions. Say in the initial stages, when your basics you are getting strong, maybe you will be able to solve 10 questions. Fine. But now in this period, you need to challenge yourself to solve 30 questions, 40 questions, 50 questions, sort of thing. And you need to also include the other topics, easy topics. Why? Because they act as a lubricant. Only dealing with difficult topics and getting stuck up will burn out again. So easy topics will say, okay, I can do this question. Okay, again, I will tackle the difficult question. Okay, I can tackle the easy question. Like that, you should alternate between the topics, but your main aim is to increase the number of questions. If you are doing earlier 10 questions, you should at least increase it 4 times, 40 questions. And you should also focus on how do you improve the speed of calculation. Now, this is the time when you need to at least think on that. It will not come automatically, but you will think on that. And when you are thinking on that, when your mind is focusing on that, then what you will see is for some questions, there are shortcuts involved. Like, for example, if I say a person can do a job in 15 days, so some person may say, as a basic concept, you should say how much work the person can do in one day, that is 1 by 15. Now, if 2 people are involved, 3 people are involved, and their work has to be added, then you are adding nothing but all the fractions, 1 by 15, 1 by 10, and that's not that easy a process. Whereas if you tackle it in this way, suppose he completes his job in 15 days, and you are saying, okay, 15 days means in one day, 1 upon 15, 1 upon 15 means maybe 6.67%. So now you're talking in terms of percentage. If suppose another person is saying 10 days he is completing, so you say 10% job he is doing per day, then 15, that is 6.67% plus 10% will automatically come to 16.67%. 16.67 is nothing but 16 2 by 3. Like that you will proceed. And now the question of adding reciprocals or fractions will convert into question of adding percentages, just like you are adding two numbers. So these things will come to your mind not at one time, but slowly and steadily as you focus on the speed of calculation. So first is this shortcuts. Second is fast calculation. If I say you add 2 plus 6, you will simply add 8 before I say stop. But if I say you add 26 plus 45, suddenly if I say stop, I think you will stop only. So you need to know 26 plus 45 means why you are it is creating a problem for you, because there is 6 after 2 and there is 5 after 4, which is making the process difficult for you. So you should ideally say 26 plus 45. Okay, 26 plus 5 is 31 plus 40 is 71. That thing in 2 steps you should ideally achieve in your mind only. You will say 26, 45, 71. Like that you should add. So these techniques are fast calculation techniques. They will involve addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And that's enough for most of the competitive exams. Trust me. You don't require total Vedic maths and all those expertise. So one is shortcuts, one is fast calculation methods, and third one, this is more important. Why I'm saying is, if you are giving the GMAT, if you are giving the online version of an exam, in some cases we will come to that, the last moment strategy what to do, but in some cases you will have to forcefully solve a question and proceed ahead. You don't have a choice in shuffling the questions. Then at that time, if the question before you happens to be a tough question which scares you, then you need to know, okay, out of the 4 options or 5 options given, can I eliminate 3 options without much difficulty? If you are able to do so, the challenge is between now 2 options, and your chance of success is 50% in that question straight away. Okay, so your confidence will increase. And if you are really practicing this type of concepts, or even formulae for that matter, most probably you will get an intuition in your mind that this is the correct answer. I mean, it should be like this, it should not be like this. I'm sharing a question which says 2430 rupees has been divided. This is a ratio proportion question. So it is saying that it is divided among these 3 people and their shares. Now it's not giving what shares they are having, but it is saying that if that share, individual share, is reduced by these amounts, then what will happen? The final remainder will remain in this share. So for example, I say if A, B, and C, whatever share they get, their total will add up to 2430. This is fine. Then it's also saying not the ratio in which that is there, but it is saying if I subtract 5 from this and 10 from this and say 15 from this, now these 3 will have a ratio which is given in the question as 3:4:5. So now traditional method says you take a variable, and if you take A and B, and then C will be 2430 minus C as A and A plus B. You have 2 variables. One more relation is through this ratio you will get. So 2 equations and 2 variables you can solve, but that will take too much time. So now in this case, suppose this is the question you are seeing on the screen, and you are not having a choice of shuffling the questions. Now you should clearly know that from this last sentence 3 4 5, you should know he is asking what is A's share. A means the first person after deduction. I mean, he is asking first person without deduction. But now you should see this 3, That means whatever the portion the first person has got, if you are deducting 5 from this, that means a minus 5, whatever is the number, that should be a multiple of 3. If it is not a multiple of 3, you should reject that option. So now with that in mind, what I will do is I will subtract 800 minus 5, case A, 795. I will say 7 plus 9, 16 plus 5, 21. It stands the test. Whereas if I take 600 and subtract 5, it will be 595. This is not divisible by 3 because divisibility by 3 is sum of the digits. You can check it straight away. 5 plus 9, 14 plus 5, 19. So it is not. So you reject this option straight away. Similarly, if you say take 595 and you subtract 5 from it, it will be 590. And again, you can reject it because it's not a multiple of 3. So the fight is between 605 and 800 now, which is that you have eliminated 2 of the options. Now, again, I will tell you, calculating something from 795 and working backwards is slightly difficult rather than calculating something from 605. Why? Because if I subtract 5 from 605, I will get straight away 600. Now, if I say 600 is maintaining a ratio of 3, so this is 3. 3 means traditionally we have taught like it is 3x, 4x and 5x after the remainder. So total it will be how much? 7 plus 5, 12x. You are calculating like this. But trust me, you can do like this. 600 is a multiple of 3. You just, because it is 3x, you just divide it by 3 and you will get 200 as x. And once you get 200 as x, you will get these two shares. They will be nothing but 200 4s are 800, 200 5s are 1000. So after deduction, the ratio is 3:4:5 will indicate after deduction, this is the amount. So ideally before deduction, the amount should have been add 5 to this and then add 10 to this and then add 15 to this. Now, as per this option, these are the three initial amounts. The only condition is if this is right, then they should add up to give you 2430. If they are giving you, that is the answer. So again, I will repeat, you are eliminating 2 options which are not multiples of 3 because final ratio is 3:4:5. And you are again out of the 2 ratios, 605 is easier to calculate because when you subtract 5, it is giving you 600. Then third one is, instead of saying 3x, 4x, 5x as per your traditional method, you are simply saying 600 is the equivalent of 3 in that particular ratio. So if you directly divide 600 by 3, you will get the value of x. So the ratio should be 600, 3:4:5 means 600, 800, 1000. So original amounts must be 605, 810 and 1015 because those have been deducted. And accordingly, you can verify whether it is 2430 and straight away mark this. If you have enough practice of fast calculation of addition and division, all these things, you will crack this question using this method in not more than 15 seconds. Whereas even if you know the concept and go by the traditional method, it will take not less than 1.5 minutes despite your calculation speed. Because now you are dealing with 2 equations, 2 variables and all those. I hope I have stressed enough this point of how do you, try to eliminate the options. And this is very important for those of you who are giving GMAT. I think one of the students, Swati, is aiming for GMAT. So you need to take care because in GMAT, you don't have an option of, going back and forth. You have to attack the question and go on further. Because in GMAT, what will happen is the question difficulty will progressively increase or decrease depending on your accuracy of the previous question. So if you are solving right, you will get a tougher question and you will get a higher weightage also. If you are not solving right, you will get an easier question and your weightage will decrease. So there is no choice of shuffling. You have to attack the question, and in that case, you can use this strategy if the question is not that easy for you. So this is about this shortcuts, fast calculation, and narrowing down. Now next comes, once the 3 to 6 months have flown off and you are in the last final leg, that is last 3 months, now your strategy needs to change. That is, last three months you divide it into first 2 months and then the last month, and first 2 months you need to solve previous year papers, lots of papers, and analyze the solutions also. Even if you have got correct, there might be an answer method which is a faster method, or some method which is easier to solve or whatever. So you need to focus on that, and you need to keep in mind certain important questions, like in the sense, if you are saying that one question is very important, you have analyzed something of the previous years, note it, because that is the thing you need to do in the last 1 week. Just glance through those type of questions, and last 1 month you should ideally slow down. You should only solve 2 mock cats, and you should ideally slow down your pace, and you should focus more on your mindset, your relaxation and all. And 1 week before the exam, definitely you should not solve any questions ideally. If your preparation is strong enough throughout the year and consistent, you should not even solve. You should only see what are the important questions. Like I said, no, when you discuss the, I mean, attempted the previous year questions and found a better strategy, you should only look at those questions. You should look at all the formulae and concepts and shortcuts, just go through them. Nothing like you are able to, you are aiming for solving some questions or something which are totally new. So that is slowing down the pace. And next is you need to learn to relax. This is the time when stress levels increase, when your peers and other friends will scare you and they are also scared, and so many things go out of mind. So learn to relax. Okay, don't get scared. You should have trust in yourself, and you should do all those things which we discussed in the start, that is winning habits and all those things. Next is the most important thing. You will receive the hall ticket. Note down the instructions there itself. Don't wait for the exam day. Some things are there, like you will regret. I mean, if it is very late. And ideally, 1 or 2 days before, you should visit the test venue. You should see how you are able to reach there. What are the alternate avenues in case there is a traffic jam or something on the last day, and what is the mode of transport you're going to plan and everything. So that will ease out your stress. Next is, trust me, last 1 month at least, you should hold on to your junk food habits, eat healthy food, and take sufficient rest at least before 1 week before the exam. Now this is about strategy, that is long term, medium term, and short term, how you are able to address this particular competency level. Okay, I will be sharing the recording for those of you who are interested in seeing it later on. Next comes, once subject preparation is there, this is equally important strategy. Because see, ideally, if I talk about any exam, any competitive exam, students get very scared. Suppose let's take cat exam. They say around 2 lakh students give the cat exam, and they say the success percentile is less than 3%, 4%, whatever, and they get scared. But you should understand that out of those 2 lakh students, half of the students have not prepared. Half of the students who are remaining in that, they have not had this attitude. They might have prepared, they might have slogged, but their attitude is stopping them. And the final remaining students, out of that 90% students don't have a proper strategy. Okay, so your fight is ultimately with last 5% people who are actually very serious and have a proper mindset and preparation plan. So that is why you also need to have this proper strategy. What is the strategy? One is strategy before you start your exam. First thing, you should have a good night's rest. Don't watch any late night movies or any gossiping or any parties. Try to avoid that. Have a good night's sleep, get up in the morning, and a quick 10 minutes meditation. Quick 10 minutes meditation in which you also visualize your end goal. Then a light and healthy breakfast. If the exam is in the morning, ideally you should have cornflakes. Maybe if you have a habit of having them with milk, that's it. And or else you can have another breakfast like ragi or oats, which gives you energy but which doesn't dull you. Like you should never have South Indians, especially dosa, idli, uttappam, or North Indians who have paratha, kulcha. Those heavy things you should avoid. Why? Because they tend to make you drowsy. Next is, if it is in the afternoon, of course the lunch also accordingly you need to plan. And then there is a checklist. Last moment you need to see, okay, what are you carrying, what is the essentialities and all those things, and start early for the test venue, so that any eventualities there you are covering up, you are at least arriving 1 hour before what the time is mentioned in that particular hall ticket. And this is the last thing. Even if you meet friends, avoid gossip, avoid distractions, avoid that news. Oh, your last year, such and such prepared, but he could not. Don't. Even if someone discusses, just smile, go from there, take a break, request them that you are going for a water break or a washroom or something, and just avoid that. You need to be as silent in your mind as possible, because it is right. Imagine like you are seeing the video of a lion before it is going for the kill, lion or any wild animal. It is very very silent because it doesn't want the prey to get disturbed and escape. So same way, if that is the exam, you should be as silent as possible in your mind, so that your mind is right on the strategy, without any fear, without any distraction. Even if you are fully prepared, avoid gossip. This is my suggestion. Next is, once the exam starts, you need to first, if it's a paper-based test, you need to identify which are the questions you need to solve and which are the ones you will leave. Because many students just go from question number 1, and examiners, most of them have a strategy in paper-based test to keep the easier questions on the last side, so that someone who is starting from the start will not ideally find time to solve all the questions which are towards the end, and they miss out on a huge score. So you need to just first 2 minutes, you need to mark, okay, this question I will do, this question I will not do, not do, whatever your coding is there. Next is, once you have decided which to solve also, what is your order? You might be most comfortable in a topic and that questions you are seeing in the question paper. Go for them first. Some topics, okay, you have prepared, but still, okay, you can solve it at the later stage. Some are lengthy, you can decide on that if you have enough practice. So decide on the priority. So your first 3 to 4 minutes will be spent here. Now, as I said, for GMAT type papers, this strategy will not work, but for CAT also online, they will allow the shuffling within the section. What I mean is, if it's a quantitative aptitude section, they will not allow you to go to verbal, but in quantitative aptitude, question number 5 or question number 25, you can skip it. I mean, you can, there is a confirmation button. If you don't press it, ideally the answer is not counted. So you can shuffle in that section. So that can be possible. But for GMAT, you cannot have both options. You have only option is to keep your mind cool and attack the question, attack the question, attack the question. That's it. So for that question, as I said, you can practice the skill of options out of 4. You should narrow it down and then intelligent guess and verify where your guess has gone wrong when you are practicing that system. I mean, during the practice, we discussed this option. So you need to go according to that. How your intelligence or intuition is helping you or not helping you. What is the lacking? I mean, concept or what? So that will help you in the GMAT type of exam. Then ideally for other exams apart from GMAT, you should have at least 10 minutes in the last to check answers. Answers checking means not that you are checking the entire method, but sometimes what happens in our enthusiasm or in our haste, for rushing through the questions, instead of marking option number B, you are mark option number D, or maybe question number 51 and question number 52 are so near in the answer sheet. Question number 51 you have to mark, you are marking question number 52 that thing. So those small things you can check in the last 10 minutes. I am not asking you to check the method because in such a strenuous situation, it is very difficult unless you are a very thoroughly prepared person and very cool. Generally, it is not possible. So you tend to make mistakes at the last moment. So generally, you should avoid that. But at least whatever options you intended to mark, have you marked that or not? That you have to check in the last few minutes, especially in the paper based, even in the CAT type of online exam, except for GMAT. Of course, GMAT, you don't have any choice in that. And this is the thing which most students forget again, staying hydrated, not over, but definitely you should hydrate, because if water is not there, definitely it will cause increase in fatigue. So this is about the strategy during the exam, before the exam, and all those things. And finally, after you have done your best, you should surrender yourself. Surrender means you should think that if I have done my best, the universe will help me in achieving my results. So that's the mindset you need to have, and you need to accordingly see which one of these strategies can help you. Please message in the message box, or you can unmute yourself. How did you find this helpful, or you have any doubts, or you want any information specifically with respect to any exam? You can I would suggest you can rate me very honestly. You can provide me a feedback, because this is my first webinar in terms of, I actually take online classes, but webinar to new students, this is the first time I'm doing. So I would request you can provide me an honest feedback. What are the areas for improvement and all, so that I will be able to implement them. Okay? And you can also, what I suggest is, those of you who have my information, you can share your mobile number or email ID, so that I want to include you in a group. I mean, that group is only dedicated for the purpose of giving tips and all those things related to this quantitative aptitude. So you can message me, or you can mail me, or you can, if you are connected through Facebook, you can reply in that Facebook session. If the session was on from 1 to 5 scale, how do you rate the session? Please type the number.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yes, tell me, please.
Sir, can you recommend any good books or any other portals for learning shortcuts, sir? Because I take a lot of time in solving. I'm able to solve. It's just that I take 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay. Vishal, so regarding your doubt, it's a very good doubt, because many students have that doubt. And I hope you have understood the importance of success mindset. You need to have that if you are, not having it, because generally
sir.
people who are afraid of maths, they think that their fate is sealed. Now, having said that, there are quite some of the quite good books in the market. To begin with, you can start with a book called M. Tyra, Magical Math. I will type it for you if you are able to see that. This is Magical Maths. by Tyra. He focuses on all the competitive exams, which includes bank exams, CDS, CAT, and all those things. And he also shares ample amount of shortcuts with proper explanation. And he has all the easy to tough questions segregated. Okay, this is the first book you need to touch upon if your preparation is for that. And then if you are really into high gear, you can focus on the next book, which is Arun Sharma, Quantitative Aptitude by Arun Sharma. Rather, this chap has a book, Quantitative Aptitude and Logical Reasoning also. So both of them are famous. And this person is an IIM Bangalore person. He is teaching since I think 1993 or 4 somewhere. So I found personally his books to be very useful to students. And there is one more author, Nishit K. Sinha, who is himself an alumnus of IIM Lucknow. So you can purchase either one of these books because both books focus on the same type of teaching, like in the sense that they will focus on the concepts, then easy questions, medium difficulty, and the tougher questions. So these are some of the books which I can recommend to you. Yeah, Abhishek. Some exams can be attempted at home nowadays, mainly with the online format. So strategy for these exams is, suppose if you have an exam which can be given by from home itself, and it's an online based exam. So after you're prepared enough, you need to, on the day of the exam, you need to isolate yourself in a room where you are trying to give the exam, and that room should ideally be the room where you are every day practicing, so that once you sit in that room, your mind is already tuned towards that maths or whatever quant, whatever it is. And second thing is that the if it is not a GMAT exam, other type of exams, you should have a strategy of attempting the questions, and you should also have a strategy of leaving some questions. Please don't have an ego or sort of bad feeling that you are not able to solve some questions and all that. It doesn't matter. All it matters is to achieve a certain percentile, you need to solve a minimum number of questions. Even in CAT also, say based on my understanding, out of say 24 or 25 questions which are coming generally, you can solve, ideally if your accuracy is very high, even 11 questions is also enough if you want to score 99%. But considering our accuracy and our stress factors, we suggest go for at least 16, 17 questions. So we are not saying you should solve 23 out of 25 questions. So that is the thing you need to know which ones you need to avoid. Because many students who are especially from engineering backgrounds find it difficult because they think that this topic I can attack. They don't understand that they can attack it, but it may take 5 minutes. So instead of that, they can go for 5 different questions. Is it? I hope it's clear. Rishi, thank you for this, and all the best people, CDS and MBA entrance and other exams. Abhishek, you people also, and Vishal, Rishi, Yashas, Vishesh, all the best for your defense exam. Swati, best of luck for your GMAT and CAT. And Akshay, which exam you are aiming for in the immediate future?
So, no, so not I'm not giving the exams nowadays.
Right now your immediate goal is not there. Okay, even then, whatever I have shared, I think it will help you whenever you want to prepare for any exam,
Okay,
or
sir.
you want to even go for any course also, because
Okay.
these are the steps which will help us in improving our confidence and scores, right?
Yes, sir.
So with this, I think no more doubts are coming. So thank you very much, guys, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you, sir.
thank you for coming once
Thank
again,
you
and
so
I will
much,
share
sir.
a recording to each one of you in your WhatsApp or email ID wherever I have information. Okay. Thank you
Yes.
very much once
Thank
again.
you, sir.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.